there everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, and today I'm happy to bring you issue number 59, Metamorpho, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are scratching their heads wondering who in the world this guy is. He is a hero, he's a member of the Justice League as well as Batman's Outsiders, and I know he's probably relatively unknown, and another one of my favorites in the line here. He's obscure, which, I don't know, I just love the obscure guys for some reason. He has appeared in some of the cartoon shows. He made appearances on the Justice League and the Justice League Unlimited animated series. He's also been on episodes of The Brave and the Bold, so he's sort of out there, but I'm sure most have no idea who this guy is. But that is, of course, why we have the magazine, which is what we'll take a look at first, which will tell us pretty much everything we need to know about Mr. Rex Mason here, also known as Metamorpho. Quick note about the magazine, too. This is the last magazine in the regular line to have an original thinking section, at least for a while. This will wrap up the DC timeline with this issue, so that's kind of exciting. And then we'll take a look at the figure itself, covering the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a really unique figure. The obscure guys tend to be some of the more fun and unique ones, and he is no exception to that rule. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy issue number 59 of the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss, Metamorpho. First up, the character section. And that's where we meet Rex Mason, who was a world-famous treasure hunter and soldier of fortune who made lots of startling archaeological discoveries. One day he was approached by scientist and entrepreneur Simon Stagg, who asked him if he'd be interested in doing his own reality television show. During one of these televised expeditions, Rex discovered the remains of a lost subspecies of human being. With Java's help, Simon schemed to have Rex murdered during the season finale of their hit television show, Treasure Quest. Rex was left for dead at the bottom of the pit, and when he came to, he found himself laying next to the mythical Orb of Ra. The orb began to glow with a strange energy that literally melted Rex down to his basic elemental components. He was then rearranged and put back together again, and found himself completely transformed. Rex returned home, attacking Java for the attempted murder in the pyramid, but was stopped by Sapphire, who recognized him even though he had been transformed. Ashamed of his new appearance, Rex at first tried to search for a cure for his condition, something that Simon was all too happy to help him with. Eventually, Metamorpho did join up with a group of other superheroes, becoming a founding member of Batman's Black Ops team, known as the Outsiders. The couple went on to have a son they named Joey, who was born with a variation of his father's powers. It was while he was researching a cure for his son that he found an ancient Egyptian scroll detailing that the Orb of Ra was going to be used to create an army of metamorphic super soldiers. Using the Orb of Ra, Rex was able to find a cure for his son's condition, but at the cost of ever finding a cure for himself. Metamorpho also joined the Justice League Europe and became extremely close friends with teammate Crimson Fox. Rex also saved the whole team by engulfing them in a protective cocoon when white Martians blew their orbiting space station out of the sky. Next, we look at a couple of Metamorpho's classic stories. First up, Batman and the Outsiders, Annual Number 2. And this annual special was the tale that finally saw Rex Mason marrying his longtime girlfriend, Sapphire Stagg, even though Simon, her father, was not exactly thrilled about it. And like most superhero weddings, it does not go smoothly and is broken up by many a different supervillain, like the evil Maxwell Tremaine and the villainous Masters of Disaster, until Batman and the Outsiders arrive to help Metamorpho save the day. In the end, the couple get married with Simon's blessing, who realizes that Rex really truly does love his daughter. Next up, Justice League of America, Way of the Warrior. And this is the story where Metamorpho came to the aid of fellow Justice League Europe member Crimson Fox, who, it was revealed, was twin sisters, who would take turns with the role. Vivian had been kidnapped by a villain known as Pointure, and now her twin sister Constance, as Crimson Fox, had come to find Metamorpho seeking his help to rescue her sister. It's an epic story full of suspense and betrayal, and it's definitely worth checking out. Metamorpho's Friends and Foes section features friends and allies Batman and Crimson Fox, as well as his wife Sapphire. And lastly, the Original Thinking section concludes the DC timeline with the final part, 50, Dawn of Heroes. In 1875 on the west coast of America, we have the first appearance of Civil War veteran turned bounty hunter, Jonah Hex. In 1882, we find the Amerindian hero Scalp Hunter settling down in Opal City, where he changes his name to Brian Savage and becomes sheriff. In 1906, we find New God Scott Free landing in the Wild Wild West after escaping the planet Apocalypse. And finally, in 1921, in Gotham City, we find the brilliant psychologist Amadeus Arkham opening his new asylum. Here we have Metamorpho, Rex Mason, and this is, I know, an obscure kind of character, and I always tend to lean towards these guys. I think one of the reasons I like them so much and why they're some of the most fun figures in the line is because the sculptors who get to design them can be more creative with them, I suppose, maybe, because they're not as iconic. They can play around a little bit more with them, like Metamorpho here. Of course, his powers lend to that too, I suppose, is a great, unique pose, and again, it's awesome because it shows off his ability to shapeshift. You can see his left hand here is taking the form of a hammer, and I love how big and huge and exaggerated it is. You can see it's a really nice, dull sort of paint too, so it looks like it's made out of steel or something. It's really cool. And you can see all of his body too. The different quadrants here of his body are nicely detailed and textured. You can see this purple patch here has that nice sort of scaliness, that sort of scaly look to it like he does in the comic books. And I love the head sculpt too. I love that pasty white The head, the bald head, really great shading and shadowing on him. His eyes are really great. They're a really nice blue, as you can sort of see here. I do like him overall, though. I think he's really fantastic. All the little details, the M on his belt, and his legs are cool, too. You can see the one is that solid metal-looking leg, and the other one is that mud or clay or whatever. And I love how it's pooling at the base there as well. It's just really cool, unique, great details, awesome pose. I really, really dig it. I know he's not a character most people are familiar with, but I really like this figure a lot. And show you some more pictures here in just a second. Metamorpho stands atop the classic DC logo, and the underside of the base probably has his name and serial number, but mine came with the wrong one on it. So you can see him in scale along with some other figures. Here he is with Batman and the Outsiders, as well as a nice big group shot of all the other members of the Justice League that they've produced so far. Metamorpho is a great figure for me. I think he's fantastic. He's obscure. He's dynamically posed. I love that his power comes through. And he, as far as I'm concerned, is up there with some of the best heroes in the line so far. He's almost as good as Hawkman, in my opinion, as far as the level of detail and just the creativity that went into this guy. He's really, really, I think, a great figure. We'll start, of course, with the good. Pretty much everything about this guy. It's a dynamic pose, as I said. It's extremely unique. Love all the different colors. Love the textures on this guy. Really fantastic. Starting at the feet, and I'll work my way up, I suppose. Both legs, totally unique, as you can see. Love that shiny, metallic silver for his left leg. It reminds me of the T-1000 from Terminator 2 or Silver Surfer. It's bright, it's shiny, it's reflective, and they detailed it all the way down to the toes. You can see every toe on his foot. The muscle definition is there, really awesome. And it's a nice juxtaposition to the other leg, which you can see is this deep muddy brown with lots of nice dark highlighting in there. It looks like it's oozing and running and gooey. It reminds me of Clayface, honestly, is what I think of when I see it. And I like how that foot is just this pool of goo. It's really awesome, I think. It's a great, nice little touch. Love his underoos, that deep blue with the nice light blue belt, and the M in the center for Metamorpho is hand-painted, always a plus. And again, you can see how all four limbs are a different color. All four sections of his body are a different color, different texture. It's really fantastic. The arms, of course, are no exception, and the chest and back. Again, great muscle definition, great shadowing and shading on the front and the back. And the right arm is nice. You get a nice normal arm with this one with the clenched fist. It's a nice orange color, not too deep, not too bright. Like the purple one, much more, though. It's almost a maroon, honestly. Great textures here. Love the scaliness of it. Like how he's got the arm up, and at the end, instead of a hand or something, it's this big, exaggerated, awesome-looking hammer that just looks fantastic. I love the dull metal paint they used on it, and it's just perfect. It looks like an absolutely perfect hammer, and I think it's awesome. And again, the head sculpt, really fantastic. Love the bald head on this guy. The nice chalky, pasty white for his skin. Love the shadowing and shading, the ridge to his brow. And I think it's an aggressive-looking pose, face, which goes with the aggressive pose. As well as I like the eyeshadow and the blue eyes. They really pop with that dark eyeshadow. And I think, honestly, he's one of the nicest, like I said, especially for the hero. And yeah, I like pretty much everything about this guy. The bad, and here's where I'll get nitpicky, because you can't say anything's bleeding on this guy because he's a shapeshifter and he oozes and does all sorts of different things. So if it's bleeding, you can just chalk it up to him morphing. My nitpick is the orange section. It's very plain, it's very blah, there's nothing really going on, and if you look in the comics, there's usually a swirling sort of pattern on it, as though it's in motion constantly, and I wish there was that sort of pattern here. Not necessarily a heavy pattern, but just a few spots where there was like a swirl going on. Just a nitpick. You know, I like this overall, but that would be my only flaw with the figure. The ugly, nothing on this guy. Solid figure. There's nothing fragile about him. And overall, I really absolutely love this guy. I think it's a great figure. I know he's obscure. I know most of you are probably scratching your heads wondering why I like it. he's just dynamic. He breaks it up. I mean, look at this picture of him with the Justice League. Look how unique he is. He's just colorful, dynamic. Love the fact, as I've said over and over, that his powers come through in the pose. But I mean, I think that's a really cool thing when they can pull this off. Great to have another outsider as well. And yeah, he's obscure, but I would recommend picking him up because I really do think he's one of the best heroes in the line. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this review of Metamorpho. Please stay tuned for a quick teaser trailer of the next issue in the line. It's a milestone issue, ladies and gentlemen, number 60. It's a big one. It's a member of the Justice Society. It's another hero. He's been around for a long time, and he's one of my favorites, so stay tuned for that. As always, I am your host, the Monkey Boy, aka Jay to his friends. Thanks for watching.